Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Duskpunk, where apparently there's never a dull moment, never time for us to just focus on the things we need done. Stuff is happening all over the city, and somehow I'm expected to attend to all of it everywhere, even with my foot. All right, let's start with this. A message from Rejchek. An urchin approaches you on the street. Message for you. You take the scrap of paper. Foundling, I must speak to you. Come to the arsenal. Meet me after the ceremony. Okay. I mean, I don't feel like I need to interrogate the child any further. I'm going to head to the arsenal. You're about to head off when the urchin steps... Ugh, I don't work for free. No, that's... Okay, I'm sorry. That's fair. Of course, it would be me paying and not Rejchek. You flick the coin. She catches it. Nice. Okay, now head to the arsenal. You hurry to the arsenal. As you get close, you hear the sound of crowds. The streets are crowded. In the distance, you hear cheers. I'm not going to ask somebody what's going on when I could just go look. You hurry onward and reach the arsenal square. Lined up in rank after rank are artillery cannons. In front of them are hundreds of soldiers standing in neat squares. Going from soldier to soldier is a robed figure, Brother Rejchek sprinkling water on each of their rifle barrels. You can barely make out his voice at this distance. Blessed Father, guide this weapon of thy faith. May it strike down the infidel. Hey, I know that priest. Hey, what's the brother? I don't know why I would talk to anybody here instead of just watching the very obvious thing that's playing out. But what's the brother doing? Well, he's blessing the troops, obviously. To boost morale? I suppose so. Some people like it. Me, I'm just here to see the Emperor. She points to a stage at the back of the troops. Seated on a throne is the Emperor, surveying the blessing. He watches as Rejchek moves through the soldiers. When he has blessed the rifles, he moves on to the artillery pieces, reading a prayer in front of each one. This is important because otherwise the artillery pieces won't know how to pray. I'm gonna study the crowd. Who else is out here? Most are watching intently, their mouths agape. But here and there they furrow their brows and cross their arms skeptically. Skeptically. One shakes his head in disgust and walks away. I mean, this is a good sign, right? People are getting less and less accepting of the war as a thing that needs to be happening. Let's listen. Let's see if I can hear what he's saying. You strain to hear Rejchek's prayer. Blessed Father, may these instruments of thy worth strike true. Steady smith, may our craftsmanship hold steady under the direst stress. Holy Mother, we weep for the dead we will slay, and the living we will save. Rejchek has reached the end of the artillery pieces. Citizens of Dredgeport, we are a God-loving people. We obey the Father's commands, weep compassionately with the lady, and honor the smith through our industry. Sarum is blessed. This war, this great test, will end in our victory. The crowd cheers and claps. Rejchek heads to the edge of the square. You're going to miss him if you don't move now. Yeah, let's dive into his shed. Let's try to be covert about this, huh? Away from prying eyes. Rejchek hurries down the street, glancing around nervously, and I try to catch his attention. He spots you and marches toward you, hurrying into the shadows. Well, Grieve, you found me. Yeah, what did you want to talk about? Something huge has happened, Foundling. The Emperor himself contacted me. Yeah, and what did he say? He asked me to do this blessing for the troops, for morale. But his grandeur also knows what kind of help I give the dockers. Said the cause of the dock was close to his heart. That the Empire's blood flows through our ports, and he cherishes the dockers like his own fingers. Well, it's good that he's smart enough to realize that. Obviously, he's not being entirely straightforward here. I'm a little surprised. How so? Well, I mean, if he cherishes them so highly, he should pay them more. Their wages are pretty meager. I asked him about that. He said everything's going to the war effort, but that once the war was won, they'd be rewarded. I also tried to steer our chat toward the lich dealers, subtle-like. He said the dealers are part of his plan, that he uses them sometimes. Why would I say, and you're okay with this? We know Rejchek is not okay with this. This is the thing about these games. Like, your character is almost always written either to be so stupid, or I guess just to give you the opportunity. No, sometimes it's to give you the opportunity. Sometimes you don't get a choice. All of the dialogue options are very, very stupid. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why your character can't just, like, be reasonably aware of themselves, especially considering they should be so much more, like, immersed in the world than you are. He uses them for what? Well, he wouldn't say, but if he thinks they're important, they must be. You know, Grieve, the Father asks us to be humble. Life's hard and confusing, but it's all part of his plan. And the Little Father's the same. This is a test of my faith. I won't let him down. The Little Father... Right, sorry. It's a term of affection for the Emperor, not a euphemism for a penis. Okay, well, he is obviously manipulating you. And that's his right. If that's what he needs, I'm happy to be manipulated. The little okay. We're just going to keep moving. But this means we'll have to abandon our plan. We shouldn't touch the lich dealers. Our Emperor needs them. I'm debating whether I try to argue Rejchek over, because that's not happening. I will absolutely destroy the lich dealers if I can. But I'm debating whether I want to argue this point with Rejchek or whether I just want to tell Rejchek, okay, I'm with you, and then finish doing it on my own anyway. Because I think we've seen plenty of reason why they definitely do have to go, right? I'm gonna try to nudge. Rejchek is a person that I care about to some degree, right? I would like him to be on the right side of this. He's got to see some level of reason, but also he is a priest. No, the dealers are a scourge on the docks. Foundling, have some faith. This will all work out. On the other side of this war is a beautiful world in the Father's image. You'll see. Well, I guess time will tell. He sighs. You're only in this mess because of me, I know. But I can't leave my foundling empty-handed. He pushes a bundle into your hands, a pouch of money and some scribbled notes. Well, I hope this makes up for all this. He straightens and glances around. It's time for me to go. Father, protect you, soldier. He steps out of the doorway, clasps his hands, and bows his head, then briskly hurries away. The dockers still struggle under the lich dealer's violence. Can you really turn your back so easily? No, there's absolutely no reason that we would do that. Like, of course, the government's using the lich dealers to exert pressure on the poor and the downtrodden and the people who need solace. Like, Rejchek's brain is partially fried. This can happen sometimes to people who are, well. Also, it's a little funny that he's like, you're only in this situation because of me. No, man, I'm in this situation because of the war. You remember? You remember the war and how I was injured terribly in the war and traumatized by the war? Over here, westward, a crowd has gathered around a woman belting out a powerful speech. So I ask you, are you happy with these arrests? This violence? Do you like living under the Emperor's boot? I'm going to just listen for the moment. What can we do to resist? We can strike. We can down tools. We can stop making the weapons and plasm that fuel this war. We can stop making the profits that keep the profiteers on top. Suddenly, two watchmen emerge from the crowd and seize her by the arms. You're under arrest for treason and inciting union activity. She struggles. Look what they've got to do to shut us up. Okay, am I going to get caught helping her? If they take this woman away, who is to say she ever gets seen again? I'm really not much of a fighter, but the whole thing here is like, you know, you act and then it helps to motivate others to act. We gotta try. You push your way past, trying to reach the woman, but the crowd is packed too close. By the time you force your way through, she's been loaded into a watch wagon. The doors slam, the plasma engine revs, and they're away. Bloody hell. Alright, well, you know, we need to get in with the people at the prison anyway, so. Oh, pardon me. Apparently we have a ton of rumors now. I am still all about taking down the lich dealers. We're just going to have to wait for the opportunity on that one. I do think we should probably work a shift at the factory. I thought we were only a 1 tick of grumbling left. Well, working 2 shifts at the factory I think is reasonable. Should probably eat something first. Certainly have the money. Because we need one more revolutionary idea, right? And this is a good way of getting it while also getting money and rumors. Just things in general. Yep. One day we'll own this place. Okay. Same revolutionary idea. So, down at the printer square, we can, of course, get our words in print. Easy enough. The pamphlets fly off the presses. Seems like a dangerous way to operate the presses. And then interesting. If we possessed a restless crowd, we could start a riot at the prison. We could try gathering one. Maybe a thing to do earlier in the day. Yeah, we still haven't actually gotten all of this stuff unlocked yet. Maybe that's a reasonable thing to do. I was supposed to bring Zai some plasma, and I never got around to it. There's so much to do, you know? All right, let's go and ask around here. What are the most fashionable places? Tell me something about this place, about this part of town. You strike up a conversation with some artistic-looking types. Well, don't say I didn't warn you, but... Okay, we learned about the music hall, and this should be... Oh, clear. We got our rumor back on the failure, so it doesn't really even... The cost is kind of fake. I'm gonna push myself. We only need a 6 or higher. I would like to get this done. The playbill. Okay. Interesting. Probably not the most fascinating place at night, in the middle of the night. You come to a bronze statue on the waterfront. The figure's green with age. 2 fishermen haul a metal net from the river. Between them stands a regal figure. This jostles your memory. An old story? Let's see if there's an inscription. At the base of the statue, behind the figures, is a brass plaque. The crowning of King Hart I. The scavenger bid him cast his nets, and up came the crown of Sarum. This is the balm the realm requires, it croaked. So he went to work a dredger, and returned that eve a king. The figure stands tall, cradling a silver crown. On his shoulder sits a raven. It almost looks as if it's whispering in his ear. Let's examine that raven. You peer at the raven figure, the scavenger, you realize, who told the future king where to dredge. It's usually depicted much less flatteringly, a chaotic creature who deals in scraps and rot. But for this tale, the foundation of the ruling dynasty, the sculptor was more respectful. It's weird that dredge is highlighted here. I guess it must be the case that like they don't write the yellowing code by hand. They just have it look for certain words. Because here, like, it is true that Dredge is the name of the city's river as well as the name of the imperial family. But here it's just the English language verb dredge. And that wouldn't need to be yellowed because it's not a setting word. And indeed, they're not defining it that way. You peer at the fishermen more closely and realize they're not fishers at all, but dredgers. Centuries ago, when Dredgeport was only a tiny village, people survived by dredging the river of cargo and silver washed from the distant mountains. That's supposed to be dredging the river of cargo and silver washed from the distant mountains, but commas are apparently remarkably difficult. The river dredge was named for them. The figures are dressed in modern clothes, though. Whatever the ancient dredgers looked like, it definitely wasn't this. You turn from the statue and head back into the city. You have no time for fairy tales, except for all that time that I just spent on them, right there. So here at the music hall, we can gossip with people or attend an operetta and bond with the staff. Here at the playbill, each night desperate commoners fight for the amusement of the rich. Well, that's definitely not going to be my deal. A commotion. The docks are buzzing. The war dead are on every pair of lips. You overhear two women talking. Got to do something. Meeting at the Firebrand any moment. One by one, people are peeling off and heading to the northwest. You follow the flow of the crowd to the Firebrand Club. The place is packed. A speaker is addressing the crowd. This blow against these draft dodgers is a travesty. I'm gonna study Markov, I guess? His tone is confident. He pauses after each sentence, his gaze moving from person to person. You see it settle on familiar faces. Nesrin and Ruby from the factory holding hands. Henry leaning against the wall, arms folded. Brother Rejchek glowering in a corner, and Zai in the front row fiddling with a tool. The Empire cannot permit any dissent. They crush it wherever they find it. Well, we need to strike a blow against them. Well said, but the best way to fight them is to organize. Alone, we're powerless, but if we band together, Rejchek bangs his staff on the floor. I've no sympathy for these traitors. The crowd gasps. Nay, none. Oh, I've nothing against one soldier just seeking their luck in this city. His gaze settles on you for an uncomfortable moment. But a whole movement? Well, that's treason. That is undermining our God-given emperor. It is a disgrace to our legacy. Make no mistake, if the draft dodgers win, we're defenseless against the Orion hordes. Rejchek, you're starting to turn a little red on me here, buddy. Also, the whole idea is like, listen, it's fine to try to survive as long as you have to do it yourself against impossible odds when you will surely fail. But if you start working together to survive, well, that's treason. For that, you should die. No, that's nonsense. Obviously, that's nonsense. You hear a furious, booming voice. You ballless idiot! The war? It is just slaughter, not legacy. And Orion hordes. I went to Orius when I was younger. They're pleasant people. Pleasanter than you. Please, love. The war's madness, but the sooner it's won, the sooner we can get back to normal. This Firebrand, he waves toward Markov. He just wants trouble. The collaborist frowns. We need to keep our heads down, wait out the war. That's how we get through. Here, here. Stay out of it, I say. That's how we keep our people safe. Markov grips the podium, his knuckles white. You know what they call themselves? The war dead. They speak for the mountains of dead this war has produced, is still producing. The war dead were just the start. The Emperor and his war profiteers will come for us all. You hear hisses and moans from the crowd. The Orions are not our enemy. Our enemies are in Dredgeport, in the Imperial Palace. Beside you, someone boos the podium. So at this point, I believe the solidarity level has rubber banded back and forth and landed on the same value it started at. No, I support Markov. I think in this at the very least, Markov is 100% right. Listen to him. He's a damn Orion lover. Have you no faith in the Little Father, the pillar that holds up all our hopes? I have none. Get off the stage. We started this war for a reason, and he will guide us through it. There's a scatter of applause. No, we must organize. I'll listen to no more of this treason. Loyal citizens, follow me. Rejchek sweeps through the crowd, trailing followers in his wake. Do not give your power away. But the crowd is mostly gone. The applause is lackluster. You go up to Markov. Well, you found some support. The masses are finding their way. I only hope they're not too late. You head out. Across the street, you notice a dozen men and women in a circle. You recognize them. The hecklers who booed Markov the loudest. At the center of the group is a hulking figure. One by one, he hands each heckler a handful of coins. Well, I'm not super surprised that a beneficiary of the current system is astroturfing. Do we say astroturf in this time period? Astroturfing political opinion like that? Let's see about we gotta get into Ravenhill somehow, right? We gotta do something about the war dead. Am I gonna be able to talk the guards over to our side? Probably not, but let's see what happens here. Let's give this a shot at least. You tell them your story, emphasizing the harsher parts. All right, I could see you've been through hell. If you need a favor, we'll consider it. Let's see if we can land that again. They listen. After an hour, they soften a little. If you need a favor, we'll consider it. Okay, well, I guess that's all we can ask for. Literally all I can ask for. I don't have buttons for anything more. All right, you curl up among the pillows and blankets, snug and warm, heal and de-stress. It's nice to have a reasonable place to sleep. All right, the watch are closing in. But before we do anything else, we're going to go and chat to the guards one more time. Maybe we don't need to make this a big scene thing. The thing is, if we turn it into a whole crowd riot, I am a little worried that I'm going to get a lot of people hurt. And if I could resolve it myself, obviously that would be better. So the guards now... Yeah, the guards are willing to let us go in. Where can I get the blueprints for the... Dresden's next job. I guess we probably ought to hit this before we do anything else, in case I need to take some daytime actions related to it. Wandering the poor quarter, you spot Dresden loitering on a street corner. All right, kid? He nods. This city, man. He grunts. It's got everything a body needs, if you're willing to take it. Suddenly, Dresden stares behind you. You turn and see a laborer walking away. Hey! The man doesn't stop. Hey! I'm talking to you! The man turns. He's in his 40s, graying, his face lined. Yes? The street goes quiet. What are we even harassing this guy about? Dresden, he's not worth the bother. I'll be the judge of that. He scowls. He looms over the man and rams his fist into the man's forehead. The man topples backwards, hitting the cobbles with a crack. The dealers run these streets. You take note of that. He gestures to you and leads you away. Did he do something to you? He looked at me. Fair enough. I cannot wait to see this guy go down. Fear gives us power, and we need power to survive. Speaking of power, I wanted to talk anyways. I got a job for you. There's a weapons shipment coming through the docks in a few days. Security's going to be light. The War Office is stretched thin these days. Yeah, this is the biggest job we've ever pulled, but with those weapons, we can rule these streets. Okay, and what do you need from me? I'm going to avoid asking questions that would make him curious. I'm just going to... What do you need? We need to know more about the security around the shipment. Guard times, weak points. It's a lot to put on your shoulders, but I think you're up to it. I do think I should ask what's the pay. I think that's a normal question. Ha! Looking out for yourself. I like it. 40 groats. And my gratitude. So what's in this shipment? Maybe this is a little push, but... Pistols, rifles, bullets, even some grenades. He grins like a kid in a sweet shop. And where's it being stored? A docks warehouse. We already know which one. Yeah, alright, I'll do it. He claps you on the shoulder. Good woman. I'm putting a lot of trust in you. Not a word to anyone, eh? It's warehouse 129 you're watching. Learn whatever you can. He claps you on the shoulder. And we do this, we're the fiercest gang in the city, and you're right beside me. I think his accent has wandered considerably over the course of the game. A captain needs help hauling crates. Yeah, I mean, this is the part where we tip off the watch, right? But I kind of like... I'm a little worried that he might be... You know, this might be like a double bluff, misinformation feeding kind of... Again, nobody's really thinking about operational security, so maybe it's just me being paranoid, but... Yeah, alright. So, Tip Off the Watch has this noted as the next location to do a thing. I'm pretty good at enduring and willing to take a reroll if I must. You haul crates handily. There's even breath left for small talk. As you leave the ship and count your money, a figure comes up to you. A huge man bristling with muscles. You must be new. Let me introduce myself. I'm the foreman around here. Do you need something? As a matter of fact, I do. You see that money you earned? You just stole that from me. Yeah, I just earned this with my own two hands, actually. It's a common misunderstanding. See, I run the docks. It's my job to make sure every bit of work here is accounted for. If it doesn't go through me, it's not permitted. Not permitted. Is there an echo in here? Not permitted by the lich dealers who have entrusted me with this job. So any work you get by going around me, that's risking my neck. I'll take those groats now. He holds out a meaty hand. I definitely can't take him. Do I just give him the groats? Like, I'm trying to figure out here, as far as me... I don't think I want to make a bunch of noise down here about me being a lich dealer. I'm just going to give him the groats. He closes his fist around them. Pleasure doing business with you. And if you want work in the future, you go through me. Okay, so we can bribe the foreman. None of this is tipping off the watch. It must be a thing you can do during the night. Otherwise, I don't know why this is targeted when that's our selected thing. During the day, we could come down to the playbill and buy a bottle, swap some gossip, dine, and find finery. Get the kinds of fancy clothes you need to pass in the other quarter. You know, I feel like we could probably do that. I certainly have the money on me right now. You find something glittering and elegant. You persuade the actors to part with it for a small fee. I even kept some of the money. Okay. So, here we go. I can tip off the watch. They could stop it and arrest Dresden. The question is, should I be doing something first? Should I be coming at this situation with more information? I mean, learning more about the particular flavor of dysfunction in this area doesn't seem like it'll lead to the lich dealers necessarily. And I just have no idea what the cops are, like, in on already. Let me, I was going to go back to the sewers. Alright, I'm buying some blueprints. They're not for that. They're for the prison. But I wanted to do it before I forgot and spent the money. If I tip off the watch now, it feels like I don't want to do a bunch of work and then tip off the watch necessarily. I'm just going to do it now. Swallowing nervously, you step into the watch house. Are you really considering betraying Dresden? I mean, this is why I joined the dealers, to bring him down. This is the whole thing. The docks have suffered under his brutality long enough. You approach the secretary. If the lich dealers have infiltrated the police, who do I think? Do I think it's more or less likely that the secretary is like going to be a member or sympathetic than the secretary's superior? I think that I really don't know. I think that I really, really don't know. I'm just going to say I have information about a major crime being planned and see what happens. I see. It's about Dresden Knox. The man gasps. Follow me. You're led into an interview room. Wood-paneled walls and a plain desk. Okay, this was bad. This was bad that I done. I'm going to get my ass kicked here. After a minute, a watch officer enters. So, madam, I hear you have information on the lich dealers. Hate being alone in a room with a cop. If I give you this information, can you guarantee you'll arrest Dresden? Knox, he's a hard man to pin down. But if we catch him red-handed, then yes, I give you my word we'll lock him up. Okay, this is going to be... I don't want to look like... I should demand the immunity, right? Yeah, I'll talk, but only in exchange for immunity. It's a bit above my pay grade. I can swear you won't be prosecuted for this crime. And if we have any outstanding cases on you, I'll move them to the bottom of the pile, all right? I mean, that's about the best we're going to get. He's planning on robbing a weapons shipment. The caught red-handed part has me a little nervous. Catching them in the act would be the break we need. All right, madam. Go back to the dealers and tell them the plan's ready. I'll have my men watching the warehouse. When the dealers go in, we'll surround the place. Do I want to, like... If all they're going to do is arrest Dresden, it is important that he not know it was me, I suppose. Yeah, probably. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to say yes. Make sure to arrest me too. So they don't know who blabbed. All right. He rises. You're doing the city a service. Nox and his goons have done a lot of damage. And that's why I'm doing this. Glad to hear it, citizen. It's a damn fine thing to do. Okay, that guy did not turn out to be... It's so easy for it to just be like, you know, the Nox has a couple of guys on his payroll. One of them, upon hearing his name at the desk, gets you put in a room with another one who's a little higher standing, and then that one pulverizes you and says you attacked him, resisting arrest, blah, 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 whatever, you know. And all the other cops just go along with it, even though they know it's probably not true, because that's how cops do. They consider it honorable to thin blue line, etc. All right. Let's go in, knowing the layout. I bought these blueprints. We're gonna try and find Dolores and see what we can negotiate here. Preparing. We're pretty good at a prepared sneak during the night at this point. The plans point to an access stairwell accessible from the parapet. You scale the wall and glance around. 2 guards are on watch, but they fail to see you in the gloom. The stairwell is a dozen feet away, hidden behind a squat tower. You wait until their backs are turned and slip down it. You hurry into the prison complex, down row after row of cells. Moonlight flashes through narrow windows as you flicker past. As you pass a dozing guard, you lift a keyring off his belt. Dolores! You pass cell after cell, face after face. One lunges at the bars. Let me out, and I'll help you find your friend. Shut up, Clatter. The warden are on row 14. Godspeed. Thanks, second criminal. Row 14 is identical to the others. Halfway down it, you hear a familiar voice. Grieve? What are you doing here? Dolores and the rest of the war dead are crammed into a holding cell. I'm getting you out. You turn the key. The door springs open. Smith's nuts. I thought we were done for. They clap you on the shoulder. All right, time enough for that later. Grieve, where's the exit? You nod back toward the way you came. All right, everybody. Grieve will take the lead. I'll come up from the rear. When we're out, scatter and lie low. I'll contact you in time. Now go. You hurry back the way you came. You rush out into the plaza and make a beeline for the gates. The guards freak out about it. The haphazard shots aren't enough to stop the war dead, and you surge out into the city. Okay, well, that escape is a little messier than I would have liked. It would have been cool to not get seen, but doesn't seem like it's really an option here. Narratively, I meant. It would be cool. So, what now is the question? I might want to take an actual 4th point of something instead of continuing to spread out. I haven't really been doing a lot of engineering work. I don't feel that it necessarily makes sense for me to have gotten better at engineering. We have been doing a lot of sneaking about. I think we're really learning that we have a knack for this. This is a thing that we have some particular skill at. All right, so we got to wait for the watch to arrest Dresden. I mean, wait, we can lure him. Let's let's do so. We'll prepare even. Really want to get this right. All right. Good work, kid. I knew we could count on you. So when he goes for it, the thing will happen, and I guess that'll be whenever it's going to be. I kind of thought it would be immediately after we hit that button, but I guess not. All right, look at all this. Very nearly full health, very, an actually empty stress bar. Like, we're in really good shape here. All right. Unfortunately, that is going to have to be where I call it for today. Apologies, y'all, for the slightly shorter situation, but this, you know, it is what it is. We got a lot done today. So that's going to be it for us for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we will discover the outcome of our plan to have Dresden arrested. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if he was dead, personally. I think that relying on the court system to actually get a hold of him and then constrain him meaningfully just doesn't seem too likely. Anyway, come back next time to see if maybe I'm just being paranoid or if maybe I get stabbed in the back by one of his associates. And we'll see you then.